expressed, and the opinions given by the individual host and their guests do not necessarily reflect those of ParaX, its affiliates, or its sponsors.
Supernatural. Magic. Ghosts. UFOs. Bigfoot. Extraterrestrial. Psychic energy.
The calling.
And we are here. Whew, that was crazy. There's just for some reason there's like, oh, what time is it? 12 minutes of the spirits or the Skype gods finally looked down on us and said, "Oh, wait a minute, that's Jerry. Hey, look, he's got Reenie. Oh, we got to fix this." So we're back. Thank you, everybody. This was crazy. Sarge, you are a master at what you do, my friend. I appreciate you. So I'm Jerry with the calling, and with me tonight is Reeni Rodriguez of Illinois. How you doing, Reenie?
I'm good. How are you guys doing tonight?
Doing awesome. They are doing great. They're all happy now. As a matter of fact, they're dancing. I thought I seen somebody dancing. Maybe not. So, wow. All right. So what's new with you over there? Anything big happening other than the show that we're going to be talking about, which is going to be, well, the reason I'm saying this is that I want to get into it now because we already kind of said we were going to talk about the true crime, but I am busting at the seams to talk about Reenie is a doll healer, and she gets dolls from many places. She has this giant glass house.
It's a case, and it's where I keep some of my haunted dolls, and I'm saying some because I do have them all over my house, but there's some in particular that I like to keep in that case because my kids are grabby.
Remember, that wasn't crabby, it was grabby.
It was grabby. Well, my little one likes to take them around like baby dolls. I mean, you know what? I mean, I've sent you pictures. So, yeah, I don't think that may not be appropriate. So,
and you have some that actually move around and kind of let their opinions out and everything.
I do. I have one in particular that's why she sits in the case. But I know my daughter has always said, "Hey, I think that one kind of moved a little bit more." And there is a board in there, and we're not going to get on that topic today, Jerry. But
a Ouija board, people. A Ouija board.
I said board. Okay.
I said Ouija.
I said board. But there's a couple dolls that are like kind of propped against it, and I think that, and I've not personally seen her move, but I mean she has moved. And when I first got her, I could put her on the table, and then sometimes she'd end up on the couch. And I know a lot of people say there's no possible way. Well, I've seen it. I mean, other people have seen it. I mean, I didn't see it physically walk over to the couch or whatnot, but it would have been pretty cool if I did.
Do you ever you're sitting there because you're kind of right next to it, right?
The case, no.
No. Oh, okay. But I mean, there is a spot for you to sit right next to the case, right? Have you ever gotten that feeling that something is watching you and you kind of turn over and they're at eye level looking right at you?
No, I haven't. And I don't know I know I've been on your show before, and I know that I've had this I don't know if I told you this story or not. Jerry, you probably know the story, but I don't know if we talked about this. I remember actually being afraid of a couple of the dolls that I did have because I heard
what?
Let me tell you.
No, you never told me that you were actually afraid of some of them.
Okay, well, I was gone for a couple days, and my mind was kind of racing, and I had a new doll, and I thought, because I was really excited about this doll, and her name is Robin, and there is that song Freebird, okay? Like that's
Okay.
doll's favorite song. Now, there's a little bit of a meaning with that whole name and the song and so on and so forth in my life. So what happened is I was coming back from Tennessee. I didn't have my kids with me for some apparent reason. Who knows? It just they stayed at my parents' house. Okay, let's put it that way.
I thought you were going to say you left them at the store.
No, I didn't drop them off like somewhere on the side of the road. But when I got back, I don't know if they were like mad at me, but I felt scared, especially like because of that doll, which is a very positive doll. But I think I was gone for a couple days, and you know how you kind of get that feeling like I'm really mad at you, so I'm gonna show myself to you. That's kind of how I felt, and I haven't felt that way in a while, you know, if I've been gone, but that was like the first time I was like, oh man, I think I'm really scared of these dolls. But I'm not anymore. I mean, that was when I first started I don't want to say collecting like spirits. That's a really bad, but when
metaphor.
when I started getting haunted dolls, I think that one was like the third one I've ever got. So, you know, and that was one I was really excited about, but that point I was like, oh man, maybe this just isn't for me. And that's been many moons ago. I mean, that's what didn't just happen yesterday. By now, I mean, dolls are all over my house now.
You what?
I have dolls all over my house now.
Right.
So I'm not afraid of them now.
Right. I know that the other day you were talking about that Torgen, your daughter, this little psychic girl, was saying something about it was on the floor or something. It was moving. Am I right on that?
The doll, there's this doll called Claudia, okay? And that is the doll that says that moves. And she has said, because it's in the case, and I have this doll that's a nun. It's kind of like a newer doll that I have. Well, not newer, but one of the newer ones. And it looks like she was in a fire. So she's kind of burnt really bad, kind of, I don't know. I don't know where they found her. Doesn't matter. But considering that the doll is kind of Claudia's kind of looking at that, like that doll, like you're kind of in my territory type thing. So Claudia's the one that moves like the most. The other ones, no. Like I said, I got a Jinn. That's where I think I was having a little bit of an issue today. Jerry and I were talking about that earlier because I sent him a picture.
Right. Yeah, and as a matter of fact, I'm putting the pictures. Why I'm saying pictures is because I seen something on here, and so did Reenie. On the first one, if you take a look at it, look at all those handprints. And guess what? It's inside the glass cabinet. So you were even saying something that's kind of odd, right?
Okay, it is kind of odd because I wasn't home today. It was, I call her my sister-in-law, whatever you want to call her, friend, whatever. We had the kids. It was her birthday. We went out to breakfast. We went and got our nails done. Let the kids kind of run around the mall. You know how that goes.
Yeah.
Because this is it, you know. It is what it is. And then when I got back home, and mind you, my doors are locked. And I guess I didn't notice it right away when I walked in, but I think I sat down and I said, Jared, I got to send you this picture. This is odd because we haven't been home all day.
Yep, exactly. And so the first picture is of the markings and stuff. Look at the second picture. And the second picture, I put a circle around it. Now, could it be pareidolia? You know, could it be just my mind playing tricks or something like that? But it just kind of looks like there's someone in there. You can see the eyes, the nose, the lips. and the eyes are closed, I do believe, is what it looks like to me. That's creepy stuff, girl. Are you looking at it?
Okay, I can't see it. I can't see the chat. So, but I've seen it, obviously. I'm telling you, that's where my Jinn was. The smaller doll that's sitting there, kind of have a white dress on, and then has like the blue little buttons. My Jinn is the one sitting down there. Don't mind the envelope. There's some haunted jewelry in there that I have not gotten to yet.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So the thing, I don't think I could live in that house. Well, like in a couple weeks here, we're going to be going to Eric Moen's house. Eric Moen used to have a team that was called Morph, Midwest Outer Realm Followers. And his house is it's his mom's house and everything, and it's older house, South Minneapolis. We did a show from there a while back, and golf balls and screws were being thrown around because he believes that there is a poltergeist in there. And I just seen him the other day. He stopped in. He makes maple syrup. It's awesome. Mm-hmm. Anyway, he stopped into where I work at to bring me mine, and I said, so I'm really excited about that show. Is there anything going on? He goes, there's been quite a bit of activity going on, and it's ramping up. So, I would definitely do that show, and, no problem. So then all of a sudden I called up Nicole. Mm-hmm. She's in, okay, feeling more comfortable. And then I called up Bella, and I said, you want to come too? And she's like, yeah, I wouldn't miss this for the world. So now I'm relaxing more, that I'll have people there, that Bella's good at pulling spiders off me, and hopefully Nicole will be there to deflect anything being thrown at me, because this house really doesn't like me. It's crazy. But yeah, with the dolls here, girl, geez.
Well,
See,
I mean, I enjoy it.
Yeah. Well, no, that's good. Someone's got to do it.
Someone's got to do it.
Well, they do. They do. Now, what have you found from the one that's burned? Have you found anything?
This is the weirdest thing. Okay. So I wasn't originally going to keep the doll because I was like, I think it causes a little bit of problems. So I ended up shipping it to somebody. Had the tracking number, had all of that. All of a sudden it's lost. Okay? Lost. About 3 months later, I got a package in the mail, and I was like, I don't remember ordering anything, but, it's a possibility. I could have ordered anything. It just happens. Open up this, and I was like, man, that looks like my handwriting. It's addressed to whoever from me, and I'm like, I don't remember what was in that box. Lo and behold, I open it up. There's the doll back.
Oh, my God.
So, I felt like it was a sign saying, like, I have to stay with you, which is fine. I mean, so...
It feels safe.
Yeah, for now.
We'll put it... So one doll that you have that I've actually talked about is that little baby doll with all the markings on it of like a Ouija board.
Okay, that is not a haunted doll. Okay, it is a person. Rejects by Nancy sells these dolls. She makes them. They're one of a kind dolls. They all are different. So I have a doll that's one of a kind made by her. Why a friend would buy me something like that, but my little one loves it. He thinks it's a baby doll. I don't really know. We put bunny ears on it. I mean, it's not haunted. It's creepy, but it's not haunted. I think it makes that whole board thing that I have going on, I think it gives it the wow factor.
Wow. No, thank you. No, no, nothing like that. As a matter of fact, it's funny because the boss at the liquor store that I work at on Fridays, he's scared to death of dolls. And Mike, one of our investigators, had left a supposedly little haunted doll about maybe 6 to 8 inches tall in my car. And it's been in the box the entire time, and I don't want it. But yet, for some reason, I'm fearful of like what happened to you with the nun doll. That I'll give it to someone or I'll throw it away, and it'll find its way back to me. I just really hate dolls. But anyway, so I gave it to one of the other bosses. He said, "You got it with you?" I said, "Yeah," and he said, "I'm going to put it up here. We'll see if he notices." And we were watching the tapes and stuff, and all of a sudden you see him, kind of going by the steps, looking down the steps and everything. And he's like, he's got the face like he hears something or sees something but he doesn't know it's there, whatever's there and stuff. And then right where the camera is where the doll is. And he looks up and he screams like a little schoolgirl. And he throws, I don't know what he threw at it and stuff, but now it's inside the building where, you got the cinder blocks and it fell inside there. And now he's kind of freaked out about it and stuff. And he's like, "Do you know anything about that?" I said, "About what?" "The little haunted doll that was up there. It's now in between the and it's cinder block." And I go, "I don't know nothing about that. I don't know nothing about a doll being put in the cinder blocks." And that's what I said. Now, if he said, "Do you know anything about the doll that was up there?" then I'd have to tell him the truth. But
you don't know anything about the doll in the cinder blocks.
Exactly. So Snooki is saying, I got to say, I was just going to say, you see a face. So she sees a face there too. Steven says his basement is also haunted. And Todd said, anyone else think Jerry needs a summer vacation home down in Mexico on the Islands of the Dolls?
Torgan has been asking me about going there. Like it's on her bucket list.
You can, actually. I think they charge so much to go on the island. You can only go on for like an hour or two, I think it is.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't look into it. It's not like I'm going to take her. Cause
why not?
Well, I don't know. She's still trying to get me to go to Key West to see the Robert doll.
Well, wait a minute. Do you love your daughter?
I do. I do love my daughter with my whole heart.
What a Christmas gift that would be or something,
Well, I definitely will take, I told her, I was like, maybe next summer we could go to Key West and go see the real Robert doll. She's done her research, she's got a bucket list of stuff that she'd like to see.
Well, there's some convention now. I can't remember where it's at. And the owner of Robert the Doll, I think, is bringing the doll to there.
Well, once I find that out, I will
look it up, and then I'll let you know exactly where it is, because it's not too far away. I think it's in, I want to say Chicago, but I don't remember. My friend Dave, whatever his name is. Anyway, he's definitely a part of that. Anyway, okay, so David Schrader, he's one of the guys there. Okay, so anyway, dolls. No, that ain't gonna happen. Sarge says that we could skip the commercial, so we can get more in. But what I'm gonna say is, tonight's show, we will have it up and ready to go for everybody tomorrow sometime. It'll be on the website, www.thecallingradioshow.com, or on YouTube, The Calling Radio Show. And if you guys get a chance, surf a little bit around ParaX, you're going to love what you hear, love what you see. Again, I've always said Steph and Heidi's show. Actually, I was on their show last night, The Gathering. They do a really good job. It's Tuesday nights at 8 p.m., 9 p.m. Central or Eastern Standard Time. You should check them out. Also, there is Bella, who was on the show with me last week. She has on YouTube at 7 o'clock on Thursdays the Wine and Spirits podcast. And their shows have gotten to be more and more intense. And they're showing videos now. This last one they had on there actually was very freaky, But, I really don't believe too much on some of the shows that you see on YouTube that people make. Because I just don't know. Anyway, yeah, we'll see that. But anyway, a lot of fun. And then, of course, The Calling, The Forgotten Files, 7 p.m. on YouTube with Shannon and Jennifer. Okay, let's get back here. So we talked about the dolls and stuff. Now, you're big into true crime, right?
Oh, I am.
Any particular case right now that you're obsessing over?
Oh, I obsess over a lot, Jerry. A lot of those cases.
Well, there's one case that I remember, and that was the Madeleine McCann case.
Mm-hmm.
That happened in 2007, I think it was. She was like just a few months short of being 4 years old, and she was kidnapped in Portugal. She's been missing all this whole time. Now, all of a sudden, there's a girl who claims that she is Madeleine McCann that came from Poland.
Mm-hmm.
From Poland, yeah, and said that she was abducted a long time ago by in sex trafficking. And
let's back that up real quick.
Okay.
Let's back that up. So they're claiming that this girl, Julia, she's claiming that she thinks that she's Madeleine, okay? But the problem is now she's got the psychic medium on the team, and I'm not saying that I don't believe that there's a psychic medium. That's not what I'm saying. But they say that they're not doing this for the money. They were on the Dr. Phil show. And I'm sure you all have heard this story 1,000 times. She says that she's got that eye defect, right, in her eye. That
it's like a birthmark in your eye.
Yeah. And I guess it's a pretty rare birthmark, okay? And then supposedly when she smiles, she's got that eye thing. But, I mean, I notice when I take a picture, I have a lazy eye, too. So, I mean, that wouldn't make me Madeleine McCann here. But then she's got a dimple. Now, she is claiming that she never seen her birth certificate. She didn't have, I guess, I'm not sure how Poland stuff works, where kids have, like, a birth to, I think it was, like, 6. Like a child health care thing, like, it's basically kind of like a record, like here in the United States, maybe that we would have, you go to the doctor and, your children have to have so many checkups, till they're forever old. But usually we could transfer records or something like that. So she's claiming that she asked her parents, or asked her mom, I should say, that she wanted to see pictures of when her mom was pregnant with her. And I'm going to touch base on that real quick. I will be the first one to admit, when I have 2 wonderful children, I did not take pictures of myself pregnant at all. I felt fat. My face just didn't feel right. Everything I just didn't want to take a picture of myself. Okay? I just didn't. But it was pictures. She said she brought it up to her parents. She wanted to see these photos. And all of a sudden, her mom would change the subject. Supposedly, and I'm saying supposedly because I wasn't there for the conversation, but I really thought that I could be there for that conversation. It'd be great. Terry. I guess it'd be kind of one of those things, like her grandma supposedly said that she could be the missing child. Supposedly, that's what her grandma said. Well, I'm not sure exactly. This girl, she took to Instagram. I'm trying to get it all in quickly. Took to Instagram, claiming she was Madeleine McCann. Then all of a sudden, the psychic medium goes to Poland because supposedly, as far as I know, right this second, is the Polish police kind of did. I don't know if it was them or it was Spain. I can't remember, Jerry. I don't know because we talked so much about it. Was it the Polish police said that they didn't believe her because they did the facial recognition, right?
Correct.
And they were
Yep.
90.
It was actually all of them. The Portugal police, too, do not believe that it is her.
Okay, so she was on Dr. Phil. Okay, so basically we're waiting on DNA tests to come back because the people, and I want to say like I'm going to say that the mom that raised her, okay, we'll say this. The mom that raised her, family that raised her, is claiming that she has a mental illness, and that's not something to even joke about in the first place. That they've given her all this information, given her the birth certificate. Now, supposedly, somebody wanted her head, and now she came to the United States. Now, that raises some red flags. And now it came out that she's going to sue her parents because people that raise her, will not do a DNA test with her. Which, I guess in Poland, they cannot force somebody to do a DNA test.
Now, that's one thing that's bizarre because the McCanns, the parents of Madeleine, won't do a DNA either. They don't want to play that. But yet, the weird thing about it is, they should and get it over and done with. I mean, wouldn't you think if you were a parent?
I mean, you mean Julia's parents, the one that's claiming...
No, Madeleine's parents.
Okay, so I'm not sure if they don't want to entertain the circus that is around this situation, to be honest with you. I mean, because let's be honest, there's so much out there. Until some DNA comes back, from what I'm understanding, she's only did the DNA for like the ancestry stuff.
Thing, yeah.
I think that they're probably waiting to see if technically she is from Poland or from Spain or wherever. And then they could probably go from there if you think about it.
Yeah, but I mean, I would think the way I would look at it is if it was someone claiming to be my daughter who's been gone since she was 3, I would say, yeah, let's do that. Why? Is because I'm not going to let somebody run around and make money off of my daughter's disappearance and our pain.
No, and I completely understand what you're saying, but I also look at it this way. They are raising 2 other children.
True.
Okay, and I wouldn't want to deal with that. I mean, if I'm raising 2 other kids and I know one of my children is missing, I wouldn't give up trying to find my child, but at the same time, I'm still trying to give the other 2 children some kind of normal.
But you are giving them normal. There's that possibility that one child, and now there's actually more things about the McCanns, the parents of Madeleine, the real Madeleine, the little girl that was taken, is that there was 48 questions that were asked to them by the police, and they would not answer those questions. And they were simple questions, and they just wouldn't do it. But they did have, in Portugal, They did bring a couple dogs out, and they did smell blood that was in the car. But, that could be anybody from having a nosebleed and everything else and stuff. I mean, what do you think of that?
Okay, so let's face facts here. When it comes to a missing person or anything like that, that family's going to probably know a little bit more than has been released to the public. So that could be another issue why they don't want to get involved in it, because they probably already know.
True.
Or they probably have enough evidence to say, okay, maybe our daughter is, deceased. I mean, we don't technically know. Like I said, they have more information than they're going to release to the public, or they're going to let the family know, or not just the family, but the family knows a little bit more, I think, than what they're leading on, is probably why they're not bringing this out and saying, yeah, I'll go ahead. I'll do a DNA test. It's not a big deal.
Right. Todd's asking, is there any doubt about the girl? Why hasn't there been a DNA test done yet? We kind of went over that right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's
waiting.
A bizarre case.
I mean, it is a very bizarre case.
It is. It's very strange. Now, you're working on another case too, right? Can we talk about that a little bit?
We can talk a little bit about that, yes. The Kathy Tucker case, yes.
Okay. And who was she?
She was a 15-year-old girl who was murdered in Minot, Illinois.
Which is not that far from me.
No, it's not. It's 15 minutes from me. I know exactly. I can retrace her steps if I'm in Minot, and I've done it a billion times. So, story goes on. It's Minot. It was like, gosh, I think it was like 1974. No, don't quote me on the year, because now I have the Madeline McCann case on my mind. Okay, doesn't matter. It was about 40 years ago. We'll say 40 years ago, okay? Off the top of my head, right this second. So what happened is she went out. It was a really bad storming night. Anybody that lives in Illinois knows that during the winters, it's horrible. So why she was out on December, 3rd, who knows? It is what it is. It's a small town. There's not much for anybody to do. And even then, there still wasn't anything for anybody to do. So her dad dropped her off in front of the bowling alley in Minot, told her to call him and this is the days of, pay phones. We didn't have cell phones then. To call him at 10:30 so she'd get a ride home. Well, turns out that call never came through. So, of course, she was spotted at the laundromat.
The laundromat was like a hangout for everybody?
No, it had a payphone in it.
Oh, okay.
And a payphone. So she was on the payphone at the laundromat. We don't really technically know who she was talking to. I have an idea, but I'm not going to say that on air.
Right.
But anyway, she's on the phone. She's crying. Wally Davis, who comes over and, starts talking to her, and people have seen Wally talking to her, says, hey, it's kind of weird. She's a 14-year-old girl, and this guy is like 30-some years old. And anyways, I get so worked up about this case. Sorry.
I know you do.
So anyways, all of a sudden, sirens go off at 6:30. Okay. Because there's an old abandoned house outside of town, which, mind you, on a good day, which would be sometime like in my area today would be a great day, I can make it out there in 10 minutes to where that farm was, where the fire was, standing from the bowling alley not standing in front of the bowling alley, but in my car, I can make it out there that fast. Because, getting out of town, there's a speed limit, obviously. And then when you get out of town, it's like 55 miles an hour. It's country, so we could do 60, but we won't tell anybody I do that. Maybe 70. It just depends. But anyway, I do wear my seatbelt. But anyways, the fire alarms go off. The old farmhouse outside of town starts on, was on fire. And, kids would party out there. But on that night, they shouldn't have been partying out there anyways because the road's really bad. So it would have taken somebody, I want to say when the roads were that bad, probably about 20 minutes. We'll say 20 minutes, okay? Because I did it when the roads were bad too. So, but I can't reenact that whole night anyways. I've tried. So anyway, the story goes on is they put the fire out. There is a YouTube video on this. And I will say that there is a fireman who was passed, unfortunately, Herm. And he was a fireman on, that put out the fire out there. And that's where they found her body the next day. Because her dad decided, she was like, oh, well, she didn't call me and it's 4:00 in the morning. So maybe now it's time that I go look for my daughter. Well, her dad, Kathy's dad, Bud, and another guy that we're going to not name him, found her out there burnt. Now, the firemen out there claim that she was not out there at all. They claim that once you smell a body that has been burnt, you're never going to forget it. She wasn't out there. That's what they're claiming. That's fine. So technically there's been accounts that Wally Davis was in the car with her with two other people. That's what one account was. And they always blamed Wally for this death. Now, he defended himself in court, and the only reason that he got in trouble, and I think was this whole murder was pinned on him, was because he was already in trouble for rape. Well, he defended himself in court, and they decided that Wally had nothing to do with this. I do know some of her friends, which I do know on a personal basis. They're like, nope, we seen her in front of the bowling alley at 6:30 when those fire alarms went off, and she was with her dad. So I always accused her dad of maybe killing her for some apparent reason, and that is one theory that I did have. Wally, I'm sorry, I've always believed that he didn't do it. I have my reasons. It just wouldn't make sense. Wally just didn't have enough time. There's another theory that I have, and I believe that it was kind of one of those things where a guy kind of was involved and it probably accidentally killed her. And it was a lot easier to, knowing that there was a fire of some sort, I believe that person started that fire, waited, and then brought Kathy out there and then set half of her body on fire. That's a whole nother theory, but I do not believe that her body was out there when the fire started. I believe it was a very convenient thing. But the weird thing is there was a farm, the Tucker farm, where you could actually see the house on fire from out there. So it's kind of a weird, it's a whole weird situation, and there's plenty of other details. But I am writing a book on this.
Yeah.
So, yes.
There's a lot to it, and I know that you can't talk about a lot of it because of, people wouldn't respect you and talk to you about stuff.
Well, here's the thing, and I'm going to say this. I full-heartedly believe that there's somebody out there that's sitting on that bar stool that knows exactly what happened and doesn't have enough guts to come and say anything. Now, have I hung out at bars to try to figure things out and try to get the town's take on it? Yes, I have. Now, have I questioned people that I knew she was friends with? And I did get the whole, I actually will put a restraining order on you. So, and that's
really?
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's fine. If you don't want to talk, I'm not going to hound you about it, but you don't need to threaten me with a restraining order. I mean, I'm not threatening you. I just asked a question. But
Right.
which I know this is weird, and we all know that I love paranormal, and this is a paranormal show.
Right. No, I
Um,
understand that.
this was the weird thing. I remember when I first started working on this, the Kathy Tucker book, and this is going to be a while before it's released, so kind of tying a few loose ends up. But I remember I took a nap, and I'm a napper, Jerry. You know this. I love taking naps.
Right.
Well, I wanted to contact her cousin. And I remember I heard this woman's voice, like, and it woke me up. It says, "Do not contact," and his name. And that's what it made me just curious. I'm like, I wonder why. I wonder why. And I ended up contacting him. I'll be the first to admit, because I was kind of curious why. And I got my answer. I mean, I'm not going to say why, but what I'm trying to get at is I thought that was kind of weird. Like, why I personally thought that it was Kathy coming to me saying, yeah, this is probably not the best idea going to him. You should just do this the hard way.
Well, you're getting closer and closer. That's a good thing right there.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Okay, so what is your take? We are down to about 8 minutes left. What's your take on ParaUnity?
I knew
Do
you were
you
going to
think
talk
that
about.
there is such a thing?
I'm going to say that everybody wants ParaUnity, but not any of us are, none of us is practicing it.
Yep, I agree with that. I think in some places, yes. Like back in 2010 when Sim became a team, we believed in ParaUnity. We used to reach out and we would ask for help, or people would call us and ask us, hey, could you help us out? Yeah, we'd be more than happy to. But after all these different shows came out and everything, and Nick Groth put out a scathing video a while back, and that's not Nick. I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about the person he was talking about in there. I'm not going to say his name because somebody I know that knows him asked me not to, and so I said, okay, I won't. But anyway, that's where ParaUnity started falling apart, is once all this stuff started happening. Do we still practice it? Sim still does with other teams. Wisconsin? Oh, no. I tell you, we've been yelled at, screamed at, and everything else for even doing UFO days in Elmwood, Wisconsin. We tried doing some mutual things with some other teams, which I'm not going to mention, and they were very ugly about doing it. Now, there was a couple that really weren't teams, but they were like Reiki healers and, crystal people, and some that considered themselves to be mediums did want to work with us on certain things, and we got good results out of it, and so that's fine. You were saying that there was some in Missouri that were not too keen on ParaUnity deal.
There's a couple teams out there, and there's one team in particular that I would support 110%. That's just my opinion, and I feel like it's not just because I like their teammates. It's just because if they do have a question, they'll reach out, and I think I think we all have one goal, but everybody, and I know Jerry and I have had this conversation numerous times. He probably does something way different than I do.
Right.
And that's okay, because I'm always saying, well, hear me out. Let me bounce this off you. What do you think about this? And he does the same thing. And I think that's ParaUnity, if you think about it.
Yeah. You and I, we have ParaUnity with each other, but we've been friends for a very long time.
Yeah, that's true. We have.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, I mean, there's plenty of teams. I mean, I think there is teams out there, and there's just people out there. But I think the drama that surrounds the paranormal field is absolutely crazy, if you ask me. I feel like everybody is trying to get ahead to do something when in all actuality, none of us are going to be famous. Okay. I mean, I'm not trying to be mean, but we're not. So I think that it's just kind of one of those things, like, we just need to stop the drama and just all pretty much get along. And just because one person doesn't agree with the other person, there has to be a reason why.
Right. Most definitely. Most definitely. That's the big thing, is not just the whys, but also too the egos get so huge, that they're going to do it my way and that's it. There's even a team in Minnesota that we friended at first, because they are considered to be the longest or the first team ever in the state of Minnesota. And it's not the ones you guys are thinking about right now, but there was a team before that. And this person was coming up with like awesome evidence and everything else. And it was like, wow, and they were trying to tell us, how to do it. And we went on an investigation with him once. And he came back with some incredible EVPs and physical things that were happening, but we caught him. We caught this team on film and on recording, fudging everything. And that is a huge no-no, because the thing is there really such things as ghosts? Is there such things as dolls that are haunted? I'm not saying you, Reeni. I'm just saying
No,
that,
I'm just saying
these
that
people. Gotcha.
There's a lot of skeptics out there, and I was just having a conversation with somebody else earlier about whereabouts to go buy a haunted doll, or where do you think is a legit place, or whatever. And I was like, oh, well, I could tell you, but what I'm saying is, and that is what I consider ParaUnity, because obviously this person owns haunted dolls. Why are you asking me? You know better. I learned from him.
Right. But no, what I was saying is that some people will fake stuff to get interested. Most of the dolls you see on eBay, I highly question them as being haunted.
And like I said, a friend of mine is doing a really awesome project with dolls. Like I said, she did not allow me into that project. She'll release that information another time. But and she took dolls from eBay. I mean, why not? I mean, if I was that clever, I would have thought of something,
right,
like that. But like I said, I understand what she's trying to do. And she gets my take in on it. And just like I know sometimes you'll have a question about something, or I'm like, Jerry, tell me if I'm wrong. Or tell me if I'm losing my mind.
Right. No, I hear that. Well, guess what? Our time is up. Do you believe it? That went pretty fast. And that's the first time we haven't done a commercial. And that's just weird. I mean, had a break, So this ran good. I really appreciate you coming on, Reeni.
Oh, anytime.
Appreciate that. I want to get your daughter on the show. That kid is incredible. Miss Torgan.
She wasn't so busy. I keep that child busy.
But, well, I want to thank ParaX for having us on their platform. And Sarge, you're the best. I appreciate you so much. And everybody have yourself a great week, and we'll see you next week. And take care. Night.